A historical chess game doesn't always mean it was a good game. Sometimes a game becomes famous not because of a brilliant move, but because of who played it or how strangely it all went down. Take that time when Magnus Carlsen checkmated Bill Gates live on TV in just a few seconds. Iconic? Yes. High-level chess? Not really.
Oh, that was quick.
With all the drama that seems to constantly swirl around the chess world these days, we figured it's time for a little change of pace. So in this video we're diving into two historical chess games that stand out not just for their strategy, but for their sheer entertainment value. Whether they're funny, chaotic, or just plain legendary, you're in for a treat. Enjoy the video. Game 1 is something special, an unforgettable clash from 1994 during the semifinals of the New York PCA Intel Grand Prix. It was a blitz showdown between two heavyweights. Viswanathan Anand played Ilya Smirin. Smirin had the white pieces and 6 minutes on the clock. Anand, with the black pieces, only had 5 minutes. It was Armageddon. Smirin had to win, while a draw would be enough for Anand to advance to the finals. The game kicked off with a classic, the Russian game, an opening Anand was famously comfortable with.
Playing symmetrically for the moment. Smirin lashing out with his pawn.
So this is a typical opening that Anand uses. He's used it in many big-time competitions. He's won a lot of games with it. And now, just playing quickly, all he needs to do is draw and he'll move on to the next round.
The first few moves were played instantly, just as you'd expect from a blitz game. But then something strange happened. On move 4, Anand suddenly paused. 10 seconds, 20 seconds, then 30 seconds. Commentators were puzzled.
So that's a slight surprise. Anand thinking about this move. Slightly unusual. Now, what's he going to play?
I've never seen Anand so uncertain. It's incredible. He's spending a lot of time on his clock, and you have to remember that he's spotting Smirin a minute, and for him to be thinking this deeply, and it's only like the fourth move on the board. It's incredible.
Smirin playing very cleverly here. Now, what's he going to do?
Not thinking. I think this is unbelievable. He's almost spent a minute, 20% of his time for 4 moves. It's incredible, the uncertainty of this strong player. He clearly is a bit off form. He better get back in form or else he's going to be out of this competition.
He's under 4 minutes now. It's crazy. Come on, Vishy, make a move.
Make a move.
Madness. Come on.
This is unbelievable. This is shocking. I'm stunned to see it. He's thinking this long on this, the 4th move of the chess game, analyzing what I do not know, but Smirin has successfully thrown him off, and now he's used a minute and 30 seconds to think about 4 moves. This is completely ridiculous. He's putting himself into a deep hole.
Yeah, I mean, this simple recapture of the pawn by white is a little bit unusual. Normally you attack this knight first. Having said that, the position is fairly simple. What is Vishy doing?
Sure, players might pause early sometimes, but this was Anand, known for blazing through the opening with machine-like precision. But that wasn't the real shocker. By the time he finally made his move 4, still deep in opening theory, Anand had spent a total of 1 minute and 43 seconds, nearly 40% of his total time, in a blitz game on 1 move in the semi-final of a major international tournament. It left everyone stunned. Was something wrong? Was Anand distracted? Was he even mentally present?
He's finally made a move. I mean, could it have been that dramatic? I do not know what he was thinking about, but it's certainly surprising he spent all that time and finally he's chased the knight. Although he's renowned to be an incredible speed player, we've seen him uncertain in this match. He needs to get his form back, and he's lost a lot of time in the clock, and he needs to start whipping out some moves.
With just over 3 minutes remaining and half the time of his opponent, things were not looking good for Anand. And to make matters worse, Smirin had a solid position and the clock advantage. But if there's one thing that defines a chess legend, it's the ability to perform under pressure. And Anand definitely delivered. Not only did he hold his ground, but he fought back brilliantly.
And he sacrificed his rook for the bishop, and now he's attacking. He's attacking a rook and a queen. This is fantastic battle going on here.
Just a few moves later, in the endgame of the match, Anand sacrificed his queen to set up a deadly back-rank checkmate with his rook. Smirin saw it coming. Down a full piece and a pawn, there was no escape. He resigned just a few moves later.
He's taking a
Oh,
and he
fantastic.
sacrificed his queen. Unbelievable sacrifice. Anand showing his form.
Vishy has a clearly winning position here.
Oh.
The only problem is time.
And look at Anand display his skill, his accuracy, and his moves, moving quickly, showing just why they consider him so fast and so rich a speed player. He's just moving quickly now. He's at a big disadvantage on the clock, but he's got an extra piece. Oh, but look at that position. The pieces. Oh, and he thumped that rook down with authority. And bam, he's ripped off all the extra pawns. He's just got a pass pawn. And look at him make a minute look like a year. He's ripped another pawn off the board.
What started as a confusing, even worrying game for Anand became a spectacular, legendary comeback that chess fans will still talk about. Now game 2 is also a special one. You know, usually a chess game starts with a knight or a pawn move. Mostly it is a pawn move though. Now it is not uncommon to play a couple of pawn moves in the opening. But how about 17 consecutive pawn moves? Yes, the next game is about a guy who played a game of chess with his first 17 moves all being pawn moves, and yes, he still won the game. Now we're not talking about a super grandmaster or something like that, but we're talking about Emil Joseph Diemer, who actually was a good chess player, but just not a grandmaster. In 1984, Joseph played Thomas Heilig and started with the move d4. Knight f6 was played and Joseph continued with f3. d6, e4, g6, g4 and bishop to g7 was played. So far so good. Now we have a pretty untypical pawn structure out of the opening, but okay. Now instead of developing a piece, Joseph plays g5 and attacks the knight. After his opponent moves his knight, Joseph plays f4. Now we continue with c5, d5, b5 and c3 to make sure the bishop does not have much range. a6 was played and Joseph answers with h4. We have knight to b6, h5, e6 and h6 attacking the bishop. Thomas moves his bishop to f8 and Joseph continues with a4. E takes d5 and a5 was played attacking the knight. Knight moves to d7 and pawn takes d5. Now Thomas does not have many pieces developed. He could play queen to c7 or bishop to e7 and that's also what he goes for. Next we have c4, f6, pawn takes b5, pawn takes g5 and f5. Thomas takes the f5 pawn and only now Joseph stops playing consecutive pawn moves. Queen checks the king on h5 and of course Thomas moves his king to f8. A few more developing moves are played until Thomas decides to attack the queen on h5. It's knight takes g5, knight takes queen and now Joseph forks the knight and the queen on e6. King moves, knight takes the queen and instead of retaking the knight, Thomas attacks the rook. Knight takes bishop, knight takes rook, and after a few many moves, we have this position here on move 42 where Joseph, funny enough, does not keep his pawn on h7 but promotes it to a queen. And just a few moves later, on move 45, Thomas resigns and Joseph wins one of the most legendary games with the weirdest approach to win a game. We hope you liked the video. Sub our channel to support us, we would really appreciate that. Also comment if you know any cool games that you want us to cover. See you next time. Thank you very much.